Okay, so anyone listening is probably interested in Coinbase and Bitcoin and maybe trying to see if this whole crypto thing is worth your time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of buzz, but a ton of information out there.
Right.
So that's why we're diving deep into this article about Coinbase,
Yeah.
especially for those of us who aren't like crypto experts.
Right.
And Coinbase has become a popular platform for new crypto investors.
Yeah.
But this article is raising some red flags about their strategy.
What I find interesting is that, Coinbase has become the go-to, as you said, but they're focusing on things like altcoins and Bitcoin ETFs, which is kind of odd.
Okay, so let's talk about those altcoins
Okay.
because Coinbase seems to be pushing them pretty hard.
Yeah.
So what did our expert, Jesse Gilger, what did he have to say about that?
Yeah, he's from the TFTC podcast, and he runs a financial advisory firm
Oh,
that
yeah.
specializes in crypto.
Got it.
He sees Coinbase's emphasis on altcoins as, well, a bit of a gamble.
Really?
He points out that they're incredibly volatile,
Mm.
and often they rely on Bitcoin's success without, having the same kind of underlying value or security.
Interesting. So, okay, I get it. So while those altcoin gains might look really tempting, especially in those Coinbase emails I keep getting,
Right.
Gilger's kind of suggesting that they're not for the faint of heart.
Exactly. He actually calls altcoins leeches on Bitcoin's success.
Ooh.
Okay, so I think that paints a pretty vivid picture.
It does, yeah. So if altcoins are the risky bet, then are Bitcoin ETFs the safer play? Because Coinbase is putting a lot of eggs in that basket too.
Right. Now, for those who aren't familiar, a Bitcoin ETF is essentially a way for institutional investors to get exposure to Bitcoin without actually owning it directly.
So more mainstream, more regulated,
Right.
potentially bringing a new money into the crypto market.
Exactly.
Okay, that sounds promising.
Could be. But Gilger injects a note of caution here. He worries that this influx of institutional money through ETFs could lead to a centralization of Bitcoin control.
Meaning?
So imagine a small group of really powerful entities holding a significant chunk of Bitcoin through these ETFs.
Okay.
It could make the entire Bitcoin network, which is supposed to be decentralized, vulnerable to manipulation.
That is concerning. So how does this all tie back to Coinbase's potential vulnerabilities?
Well, if ETFs were to take a hit, for example, through regulatory changes or a loss of confidence in the market,
Right.
Coinbase's heavy investment in them could backfire.
Yeah.
And that could spell trouble for anyone with their crypto assets sitting on the platform.
So if Coinbase is, potentially risky, what can listeners do to protect their crypto? The article mentioned this whole personal key control thing.
Right. So that's a big part of Gilger's advice.
Okay.
He's a big advocate for owning your crypto directly
Okay.
instead of relying on someone else to hold it for you, like Coinbase.
Right. That sounds like a smart move, but how does that work?
So think of it this way. When you hold your crypto on Coinbase, they control the keys that can access and manage your assets. But with personal key control, you hold those keys yourself, usually through a hardware wallet.
Okay.
It's like having your own personal vault for your crypto.
So taking direct control makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But shifting gears a bit, I want to go back to Bitcoin's disruptive potential.
Okay.
This article hinted at the idea that Bitcoin could, upend traditional wealth management.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the thinking there?
So Gilger, he believes that Bitcoin challenges the traditional 60-40 portfolio model.
The one that focuses on stocks and bonds.
Exactly. A lot of financial advisors struggle to advise on Bitcoin because it doesn't fit into their existing frameworks.
Right. Okay. So is Bitcoin the death knell for the old way of investing?
I don't think it's that simple. Bitcoin does have its strengths. For example, it's a potential hedge against inflation, which a lot of people are worried about.
Yeah, for sure these days.
Right. And then its decentralized nature and potential for growth are attractive to those looking for alternatives.
So while some financial advisors might be hesitant, there are some compelling reasons why Bitcoin deserves a closer look.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that the investment landscape is changing, and Bitcoin is part of that.
Okay, so we've got altcoins, we've got Bitcoin ETFs, and personal key control.
Right.
It's a lot. But before we wrap up, I wanted to get your take on stable coins.
Okay.
The article briefly mentioned them, in relation to the U.S. dollar.
Sure.
Can you elaborate on that?
So stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that are pegged to the value of the U.S. dollar.
Right.
They've gained popularity as a way to transact with crypto while minimizing volatility.
So less of a roller coaster ride than Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I find fascinating is that Gilger sees the success of stablecoins as evidence of the dollar's continued strength. People, I think, still value that stability,
Yeah.
familiarity.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's almost like they're a bridge between like the traditional financial system and crypto.
Precisely. They give people a way to, dip their toes in the crypto waters without, abandoning the dollar.
It's wild how the US dollar is still hanging in there, even with crypto, threatening to take over.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think the takeaway for me is like just how important it is to be informed, We can't just assume that because Coinbase is popular that it's like a safe bet.
Yeah, definitely not.
Like we need to be careful.
Yeah. This deep dive has shown just how risky Coinbase's strategy could be,
Right.
especially that whole, focus on altcoins and Bitcoin ETFs.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good reminder to think for yourself. Look beyond the hype.
And also, the crypto world changes so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like a sure thing today, might not be tomorrow.
Exactly. Like, Gilger's point about personal key control, right?
Right.
That just shows how important it is to, really own your crypto asset.
Not just trust these third-party platforms.
Right.
So to wrap up this deep dive, what are some big questions our listeners should be asking?
Well, first off, you got to figure out your risk tolerance, right?
Mhm.
Like, how comfortable are you with the volatility? Are you okay with altcoins, or do you want something more stable like Bitcoin?
Or even stable coins, right?
Right, exactly. And you got to figure out your own approach. There's no right way to do this.
Right.
Some people might want those, big altcoin gains, while others want the security of holding their own keys.
Right. Right.
The important thing is to do your research.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is key.
Exactly. And remember, this crypto world is full of surprises.
That's for sure.
We've seen how it can change finance, challenge the dollar, even create totally new ideas about money.
It's definitely a space to watch. So any final words of wisdom as we leave our listeners?
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. That's how you navigate this complex world and maybe even, reap the rewards.
I love it. Well, a huge thank you to our expert for this insightful deep dive.
My pleasure. It's great being here.
And to our listeners, thank you now for joining us as we explore the ups and downs of the crypto world. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those crypto questions coming.